Hello, and welcome to the More Than Muscle podcast, presented to you by your coach and overall favorite person, me, trainer Greg McBride. I'm super excited that you are tuned in today, and you can stay tuned in by subscribing to this podcast. In the More Than Muscle podcast, we will cover the skills, habits, and practices needed to be successful. Going beyond just the physical, we will talk about how to be the best version of yourself, all while looking through the lens of health and fitness. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the More Than Muscle podcast. It's me, trainer Greg McBride, and today we are going to talk about training toughness. Toughness comes in so many different areas in your life. You can be tough in a few different ways. I just want us to touch base on what it means to be toughness and why it's important to your success. I'm going to start with a story because I like stories. So in my backyard, we back up to kind of a foresty area. It's kind of a protected area because between my backyard, there's a little woody area and then there's a park. And so no one really goes back there. There's some kids every now and then that play through there. But I want to use this analogy to kind of describe how toughness is built and how you can train toughness. So again, this backyard is really woodsy, so there's lots of animals and things back there. So during the shutdown a couple years ago, I used that as a way to get my son out and about and move around. We just went through the woods, we explored, we were looking for gains. You know, I might hide some stuff in there. He helped me go out and find it. So we were trying to find gains. We were looking for protein, trying to find all these random animals and things out in the woods. So we never really went in there much before then. But as we continued to go in there more and more, he wanted to do it every single day because he loved it. And why would he not? He's a young kid getting out, finding squirrels and dead animals. And yes, tried to track animals. So we looked for like little deer poop piles and things like that. So we went through there day after day, and after a couple months, 2 months, 3 months, what we did is we started to kind of blaze a little path through the woods. We went kind of a similar route most times to get to the more open areas, but directly from our house to get to more of the woody areas, we had to take a certain path. There was like hills and knocked down trees, so we had to take this certain path that we slowly started to set the grasses, mat it down, and we cleared twigs and bigger branches out of the way so we wouldn't trip and fall, especially after rain when it got muddy. So what happened is the more we went along that path, the more it became clearer how to do that. And it made it easier for us to want to go down that path. Why not? The path of least resistance. That's what we do. As humans, that's what we do. We try to find the easier way of doing things. Our body does the same thing. That's what we have the adaptations that happen from whatever we're doing, whether we're working harder or working less. Our body adapts to that. So the more you travel down a particular path, the easier it becomes. Now, once you remember that kind of idea, the more you do a thing, the easier it becomes. Whether it's good or bad, the more you do a thing, the easier it comes. So if you can apply that to training toughness, there's a certain thing about challenging yourself, putting yourself in tough situations, what's going to allow you to be tougher. So let's talk about training toughness. First, you have to understand what toughness is. Now, there's a ton of definitions on what toughness is and what it really means and who's tough and what that is all about. But I just broke it down into 3 different areas. First, toughness, you have physical toughness. Second is mental toughness. And third is emotional toughness. Now, a lot of times I think about toughness as it relates to being an athlete. You always hear stories about how tough certain athletes were, how they overcame certain obstacles, their mindset that they had to achieve certain goals. So we don't often look beyond physical a lot. A lot of times there's mental, but the emotional side is often neglected. Now, I'm not going to dive deep in any aspect outside of mental because I think even if you're lacking in physical toughness, even if you have a little bit of deficiency in emotional toughness, the mental side of it, if you can lock in mental toughness, it can help bring up those other areas. So, toughness, what does it mean to be tough? How do you build on your toughness. It's a mindset thing, and it is something that can be trained. Your brain is a muscle, just like every other part of your body. Your brain is a muscle. So you can train your brain to be tough. What do you have to do to train your brain to be tough, though? You have to be able to adapt. Now, when I say be able to adapt and be flexible, I don't mean, this happens, I'll just go with the flow type of adapt and flexibility. Being able to adapt and understanding that what you did yesterday was great, and that's what it took to get you to where you are today. But you have to adapt, you have to change, you have to be ready to go to that next level if you still want to reach that end goal. If you want to get to, my goal is always greatness. So I'm thinking about how to get to greatness. But that ultimate level of success for myself personally, what does it take to get there? Every day there's a new challenge, and you have to be able to adapt and take on those new challenges. You can't shy away from those challenges. Every single step of every single day is what's going to get you to get to that success, to get more toughness built. Because once you understand that you can do certain things, it just makes it so much easier the next time a challenge comes up. You're like, I've come through so many challenges. I've climbed this hill, I've climbed that hill, this mountain, nothing. I know what it takes. I know how hard I have to push. Not necessarily saying that you've accomplished something at that level, but you know that when you reach your limit, rather what you thought was your limit, you're not finished. You're not done yet. You know how to push, how to carry on, go beyond that. So first you have to be able to adapt. Second, you have to create these situations. It's a lot of a mind game kind of thing. You have to know that inside your head, there's no negotiation. There's no quit. Once you set your mind to it, this is what you do. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Nothing else to say. And that non-negotiable mindset is that determination to not give up. Things don't always go your way. You can have the best plan. Like Ty said it, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Once you get hit in the face, when they get punched in the mouth, what are you going to do? Are you going to fold? Are you going to put your face in your hands and say, this hurts, I can't go on anymore? No. You have to be able to say, take that, cool. What next? What else can you give me? I can take this, Or sometimes you might have to dodge, weave, sidestep, but then still go forward. You can't stop. You have to be able to say, this is what I decided to do. This is what I'm going to stick with. And it's a certain kind of focus that comes along with that. Social media, I hate to harp on social media, but it makes it tough. There's so many people out there putting out so many different things, whether it's good or bad. Everyone wants to paint themselves in this perfect light of how awesome they are, how great they are. We're all going through hard times. We're all struggling, and we're all imperfect. So if you get caught up in seeing all these great things, you might think, I don't compare to this person, or I don't compare to that person. You can't be tough focusing on other people. It has to be an inward focus. So that's another aspect to being tough. You have to focus on yourself. As selfish as that may sound, you can't help other people until you help yourself. I know you've heard that plenty of time, but it's true. If you can't work on yourself, you can't be the best you can't give you and expect anything good to anyone else. You're not good to anyone if you haven't worked on yourself. So it's an inward focus. Toughness is definitely an inward focus on different aspects on you as a person, your character, your integrity, your willingness to sacrifice, your willingness to just take in everything, every moment, mistakes from the past, successes from the past, learning every step of the way, taking in all those different data points and using that to build upon, to make yourself better and tougher for that day, for the next challenge. So you have to pursue excellence. Don't get caught up in perfection. This is the idea of falling in love with the process. And I'm going to say that every single chance I get, because if you fall in love with the process, if you take every step and focus on it as if it is the most important thing in that moment, when you go to the next step, make that the most important thing, that moment, the most important thing in your life, you can continue to go. And those are the type of people who build empires, who get the greatness, If fame is what you're seeking, hey, those are the people who are famous because they did not take the small things for granted. You can't overlook something and say, I'm going to just jump up to the top of this mountain. It doesn't work that way. You climb, you stop, you sleep. If you ever watch a journey of someone who's like scaling an actual mountain, most oftentimes it's not done in a day. It's not done in a couple days, not done in a week sometimes. It is a process. You prepare, you pack, you have all the gear that you need to survive. And still, there's going to be situations that come up that you may not be 100% prepared for. But you have to adapt, analyze the situation, use what you have and what you've practiced and what you've learned, and then apply it. That's one other aspect to toughness. To build that toughness to greatness is you have to learn from other great people. You have to learn from other greatness around you. Surrounding yourself with that greatness is going to help build that toughness. Other people have gone through a lot of things. Learn from that. Don't make it so tough on yourself. You don't have to experience everything. There's other people who have experienced it and can share knowledge with you. So that pursuit again of excellence, the inward focus, is a building block for training your own toughness. And what I think is one of the more final things is you have to give up on excuses. Everyone has a sob story. Everyone has difficulties. You cannot let the excuse outweigh your purpose. You can't let an excuse outweigh what you plan to do. You either find an excuse or you find a way. And I truly believe that is what it is. You know there are bills to pay, family to take care of, your mental health to take care of, your physical body to take care of. If you let all those things weigh you down and get in the way of you and achieving your success, your greatness, your goals, it will always be something. There's always one thing or another that comes up that you have to say, oh, I'm going to accept this. I'm going to stumble and I might let it knock me down, or it may knock you down. I mean, not go into it may knock you down, but you don't have to stay down. You have the choice to say, got a little scrape with my knee, get up and keep going. There are no excuses. There are no shortcuts. You get up and you go. And that is what mental toughness is about. Overcoming obstacles. They will come, and they will come. You can't stop them. You only have control over how you respond to these obstacles, how you embrace these opportunities. So I kind of wrapped this up in a statement, almost like a mission statement of what I say toughness is. So bear with me as I try and read through this. So if I were to sum up toughness, I would define it as unrelentlessly moving forward. Unrelentlessly moving forward with an inward focus. So it's a focus on yourself, a focus on you in a pursuit of excellence and pushing yourself to achieve your highest level of greatness. I'm going to say that again. You pushing yourself to achieve your highest level of greatness. So toughness is an unwavering force that can never be derailed. It can't be shaken and it can't be destroyed. Toughness is an armor that you put on. It's the mindset you create, and it's actions that you over time form in habits. So being tough becomes a habit. It becomes who you are. You repeatedly take on challenges and you become tough. And beyond that, toughness is the foundation to success and greatness. And where do you find that? In the small things. It's the small steps that you take day after day. Getting up at 4 a.m., not complaining. Your alarm goes off. Don't hit the snooze button. Turn the alarm off. Slide your feet out of bed. Touch the ground. Thank the Lord you're alive and get to work. That's it. Be tough. Be relentless. Focus on yourself. Pursue excellence, and success is right around the corner. This is a quick one. That's all I want to come across today. Training toughness is going to get you to the next level. It's a part of business. It's a part of relationship. It's a part of fitness. I mean, I apply some type of toughness, psychological training with all my clients, especially when you think about how you talk to yourself. That's an aspect of toughness, and getting your mindset ready to perform. You can't be thinking negatively when it's time to perform. Be tough, be relentless, and go get it, guys. That's what I have for you today. Thanks, and until next time, be more than muscle.
This has been another episode of the More Than Muscle podcast. Thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I also hope that you found something that you can take away and apply immediately to your life. I am your host, Trainer Greg McBride, and until next time, train with purpose and be more than muscle.